They say rain is cleansing, peaceful, but not for me. Not after what happened. Not after I started seeing him. It started 2 months ago. I was renting a small house at the edge of town, trying to work remotely and get away from the noise of the city. The town was quiet. Too quiet. Most of the houses nearby were empty, vacation homes left untouched in the off-season. The first thing I noticed was the rain. It would start pouring every night around 1 a.m. Sharp. Like clockwork. Only at my house. I checked weather reports, clear skies. But when I looked out my windows, the rain was real. Heavy. Almost violent. I thought maybe I was going crazy until one night I called a friend during the storm. I held the phone up to the window. "You hear that?" I asked. "What?" she said. I looked outside again, and the rain was gone. Just like that. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed at my window, watching, waiting. Around 1 a.m. again, the rain came back. With it came him, a tall figure, standing at the edge of the woods behind my house. At first I thought it was a tree, but it moved. He never came close, just stood there, motionless, rain pounding down around him. And he was only there when it rained. Each night, he was closer. First at the woods, then the fence, then the backyard. But only when I looked outside during the storm. I stopped opening the curtains, tried to sleep with white noise and sleeping pills. Didn't help. One night, I woke up to a tapping sound. I froze in bed, thought it was a branch or the wind. But the taps kept going. I turned on the lamp, heart racing, and walked to the bedroom window. The rain had returned, and so had he. But now, he was just outside the glass. His face was obscured, like the water blurred it. He didn't move, just stared at me. I dropped to the floor, turned off the light, and crawled to the hall. The tapping stopped. I waited an hour before daring to peek again. He was gone. So was the rain. I told the police. They found no footprints, no mud, no signs of anything, just dry grass. They suggested I get professional help. I installed cameras, but the footage glitched every time it rained. One night, I left my phone recording from the windowsill. At 12:59 a.m., it was clear. At 1 a.m. sharp, static, garbled noise. The screen went black until 1:07 a.m. When it returned, there was a handprint on the glass. From the inside. That's when I started barricading the house. Nails, locks, furniture. Didn't matter. The rain always returned. And with it, the figure, closer, louder, more insistent. One night, I made the mistake of talking to him. The rain started. I pulled the curtain just an inch and whispered, "What do you want?" For the first time, he moved, tilted his head, slowly, unnaturally. Then, in a voice inside my head, not through the glass, he said, "You looked. That's enough." I blacked out, woke up in the hallway, mouth full of water. Since then, it's gotten worse. It rains inside the house, always at 1 a.m. First the bathroom sink would overflow, even when turned off. Then water began dripping from the ceilings. Now every surface is wet by morning. My bed, my floors, my skin. The figure doesn't wait outside anymore. I hear him walking in the attic, and I've stopped using mirrors. Every time I catch my reflection, I see him behind me, standing perfectly still, dripping water on the floor. I've tried to leave town. Every time I pass the county line, the car engine dies. And then the rain starts. No matter where I go, no one believes me. Last night, I woke up with water running down my face. I looked up and saw a hole in the ceiling. Through it, I saw an eye, not human, watching me. I screamed, grabbed my phone, took a photo. The photo shows me asleep, taken from above. But the timestamp says 12:59 a.m. Before I woke up, there was no camera above me. There was no one else in the house. Tonight, it's already raining. It's only 11 p.m. He's getting closer. And I think this time, he's coming in. When I was a kid, my grandfather warned me never to visit the old family home during a storm. Not when the rain starts, he said. Not when the thunder rolls like footsteps. At the time, I thought he was just being dramatic. An old man stuck in ghost stories and superstition. But he was right. And now I can't escape it. It started when I went back to settle his estate. Grandpa passed alone, found in the hallway of his crumbling house in the woods of Oregon. The place had been in our family for generations, built in the late 1800s. I'd only been there once as a child, and I barely remembered it. I drove out during a light drizzle. The rain grew heavier the closer I got. By the time I reached the house, it was pouring. The place was dead silent, except for the rain pelting the roof like 1,000 fingernails. The lights flickered constantly. The floor creaked even when I wasn't walking. I chalked it up to age, dust, mice in the walls, until I found the mirror. It hung in the upstairs hallway, tall, antique, almost warped from moisture damage. The first night, I walked past it and saw my reflection blink out of sync. Stared. My reflection just stood there. Then it smiled. I did not. I smashed the mirror with a flashlight. It didn't shatter. It didn't even crack. It just rippled like water. Then the lights went out. The rest of that night, I swear I could hear bare feet slapping wetwood on the floors above me. But when I checked upstairs, nothing. The mirror was still there, looking perfect, untouched. The next morning, I found a handwritten note tucked into Grandpa's Bible. One word: apologize. I thought maybe it was a warning, or a plea. I ignored it. That night, the rain came harder, violent, and the house changed. I walked into the kitchen and found it different, older. The wallpaper was yellowed and peeling. Cobwebs I hadn't seen before stretched from corner to corner. The windows were gone, replaced with boards. The clock ticked backward. I turned to leave and saw Grandpa in the hallway, dripping, soaking wet, pale. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. Just rainwater spilling down his shirt. I screamed, slammed the door shut. When I opened it again, he was gone. The kitchen was back to normal. I tried to leave. The front door opened to darkness. Not night, not fog, literal black, an endless void. I stepped back, heart pounding, and I heard it, footsteps above. But now they weren't slow. They were running. I hid in the bathroom, locked the door. The mirror above the sink flickered. Inside it, I didn't see myself. I saw the kitchen again. But it was on fire. A woman stood in the flames, cradling a baby, both soaked and burning. She looked right at me and whispered, "You brought the storm back." Then thunder shook the house so violently, tiles fell from the ceiling. I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke up on the floor, soaked, rainwater dripping from my clothes. The bed was dry. The ceiling above me was dry. Only I was wet. The next few days blurred. I found more notes, more warnings, pages ripped from old journals scattered around the house. The storm carries the past. Rain is memory. Don't look in the mirror when it thunders. I dug through the attic and found a family photo album. Every photo had been scratched out except one. A picture of my great-grandmother standing in the yard. It was raining in the photo, but everyone in the picture was dry, except her. She was soaked and smiling, but her eyes were wrong. All black, like hollow pits. That night, I had a dream, or maybe it wasn't a dream. I was standing in the mirror hallway again, but this time, I saw dozens of versions of me in the reflections. Some crying, some screaming, some dead, and one of them walked out of the mirror. It looked like me, but its skin was bloated and pale like a drowned body. Its mouth didn't move, but I heard my own voice. "You stayed too long. Now the storm remembers you." I woke up choking on water. Rain was pouring from the ceiling. Only the ceiling wasn't there anymore. Just clouds, thunder, lightning. The house was gone. I was outside, somehow, but the trees were gone too. Just an endless field, and the mirror standing alone in the center. I ran, didn't look back. When I finally collapsed hours later, I was miles away, soaked barefoot, covered in mud and scratches. My car was still parked by the house. But the house? Gone. Nothing but grass and dirt. No foundation. No ruins. No sign a house ever stood there. But now, wherever I go, it rains. Not always heavy, but always when I'm alone. And when I catch reflections, mirrors, windows, puddles, I see that hallway behind me. And sometimes my reflection smiles, just before the rain starts. I've always felt safe during rainstorms. Something about the sound of it tapping the windows, washing out the city noise, made me feel like I was inside a snow globe, sealed off from the world, until last November. Now the sound of rain makes me sick. I had just moved into a new apartment, ground floor, tucked behind a laundromat in a quieter part of town. Not glamorous, but cheap and easy to disappear into. I was trying to start over. New job, new name. Left some stuff behind I don't really want to talk about. It rained the first night I moved in. A soft, slow drizzle. I didn't have much furniture, just a mattress, a table, and my laptop. Around 1:30 a.m., I heard footsteps outside. My bedroom window faces a small alleyway, which dead ends behind the laundromat. No reason for anyone to be there. I got up, pulled the curtain aside just an inch. A man was standing there, back to me, head down, no umbrella, just standing motionless in the rain. I watched him for a full minute. He didn't move. I thought maybe he was drunk or lost, so I banged on the window lightly. He turned his head, not fully, just enough that I saw the side of his face. Something about it looked wrong. Too pale, the eye too wide. Then he stepped out of view. I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning, I told the building manager. He shrugged. Probably a junkie, he said. It happens around here. He offered to put a chain lock on the door. That was it. The next 3 nights it didn't rain, and everything was normal. Then came Thursday. Heavy downpour. Sheets of water. Thunder in the distance. At exactly 1:33 a.m., I heard the doorknob jiggle. Not subtle. Not a mistake. Someone was trying to open it. I froze. Didn't make a sound. The knob stopped. Then came a knock. Just one. Soft. Like a tap with a single finger. I looked through the peephole. No one. I stayed up until sunrise, heart racing, knife in hand. Called the cops. They sent someone the next day. No footprints, no camera footage. They told me to install better lighting. I bought a motion light and a camera the next day. Installed both. That Friday night, the rain returned. So did he. This time, the light turned on around 1:30 a.m. I checked the camera from my phone. The man was back, standing just out of range, hidden in the shadows between the dumpster and the wall. The feed glitched every few seconds, but in one clear frame, I saw his face. No expression, just blank. Eyes black like they were painted on. I called the police again. They came, checked the alley. Gone. But I noticed something they didn't. Wet footprints. On the inside of my door. I moved a dresser in front of the door. Slept in my closet with the knife again. That Sunday, no rain. Monday, rain all day. I stayed at a friend's. When I got back Tuesday morning, the apartment was fine. Dry. Quiet. Except for one thing. A Polaroid on my pillow. It showed me, sleeping in the closet. Camera angle from just above the bed. There's no way that photo could exist. Unless he was in there with me. I left the apartment. Checked into a hotel. Told work I was sick. And for 3 days, nothing. Clear skies. Normalcy. Then it rained again. At the hotel. My window started fogging up around 1 a.m. Lights flickered. Then came the knock. One single knock. I pulled the curtain aside. He was there. On the 3rd floor balcony. No stairs. No access. Soaked. Grinning. I screamed. Ran to the hallway. Hotel staff found no one. They checked the cameras. The feed at 1 a.m. Corrupted. Just static and a flash of light. I called my only friend I trusted. Told her everything. She believed me too easily. Is he back? She asked. It's always worse in the rain. That's when I realized. She had seen him too. Years ago. Different city. Different storm. She thought he was a ghost. I think he's something worse. A real man. Or used to be. Someone who moves through storms. Follows certain people. Appears when you're most isolated. Most forgotten. And if you let him in, once you're marked. That's why I'm writing this now. In case it helps someone else. It's 12:59 a.m. The rain just started. Again. I've taped up every window. Locked every door. Knife in hand. But the rain isn't just outside anymore. It's dripping from the ceiling. One drop just hit my keyboard. Another knock. Soft. Fingertip soft. He's inside. If you hear one knock in the rain, don't open the door. Don't even look. Because once you do, he'll follow. Every rainy night. Forever.